The War Council chamber fell silent as Zarthak, the Ironbreaker, strode through the massive doors, her ceremonial mace gleaming in the amber light. Standing nearly 3 meters tall, with muscles that could crush steel and chitin armor that had turned aside plasma bolts, she was the pride of the Corvani warrior caste. Behind her walked the human diplomat, a small, pale creature barely reaching her shoulder. Marcus Chen adjusted his diplomatic sash nervously as hundreds of alien eyes turned toward him. The peace negotiations had been going poorly for weeks. The Corvani Confederation viewed humanity as weak, soft creatures unworthy of an alliance. Their military doctrine was built on individual strength and honor in combat, concepts that seemed alien to their perception of human warfare. "Honored Council," Zarthak's voice boomed across the chamber, "I present the human representative. Before we discuss terms, let us settle the matter of their worthiness." Elder Vexmore leaned forward from his position at the council table. "The traditions are clear, Ironbreaker. If they would stand as equals, they must prove themselves in the trial of burden." Marcus had studied Corvani customs extensively, but this particular tradition had been mentioned only briefly in the cultural briefings. "Elder Vexmore, I'm not familiar with this trial. Could you explain—" "Silence, soft one," Zarthak interrupted, though not unkindly. "The trial of burden is simple. You will hold my ceremonial mace for the duration of our negotiations. If you drop it, your species will be deemed unworthy of alliance. If you hold it, well, by tradition, the outcome would be most unexpected." She lifted the massive weapon with casual ease. The mace was a work of art as much as a weapon, forged from dense neutronium steel alloy, with intricate carvings depicting the greatest Corvani victories. It had been wielded by her ancestors for over 2 centuries. "This weighs approximately 400 pounds in your measurement system," she said, extending the weapon toward Marcus. "I do not expect shame in your failure, human. Even our own younglings cannot." Marcus reached out and grasped the handle. The weight hit him immediately, a crushing force that sent shockwaves through his shoulders and spine. His knees nearly buckled, but something deep inside him, some stubborn human refusal to surrender, kept him upright. His muscles screamed in protest, but his grip held firm. The chamber erupted in startled whispers. Several Corvani warriors leaned forward in their seats, mandibles clicking with surprise. Zarthak's eyes widened. In all her years, she had never seen an off-worlder even attempt to lift the ceremonial mace, let alone succeed. "Impressive, human, but holding it for a moment is different from—" "Let's begin the negotiations," Marcus said through gritted teeth, sweat already beading on his forehead. What followed was the longest diplomatic session in Corvani history. For 7 hours, Marcus stood holding the 400-pound mace while trade agreements were debated, territorial boundaries were discussed, and mutual defense pacts were negotiated. His arms trembled, his back ached, and his vision blurred from the strain, but he never wavered. The Corvani watched in growing amazement as this small human endured what would challenge even their strongest warriors. They had expected him to collapse within minutes, but as the hours passed, a strange respect began to grow in the chamber. "How?" Zarthak finally asked during a brief recess, her voice filled with genuine curiosity. "Your species is not known for physical prowess. Your military relies on technology, not personal strength." Marcus shifted his grip slightly, fighting the fire in his muscles. "You're right. We're not the strongest or the fastest, but we're stubborn. When we decide something matters, we hold on." He met her gaze steadily. "This alliance matters." Elder Vexmore consulted an ancient text, his expression growing increasingly troubled. "Ironbreaker, the traditions are clear. If an outsider can bear the ceremonial mace for the duration of a full council session—" "I know the tradition, Elder," Zarthak said quietly. "It has never been invoked because it was thought impossible." As the final hour approached, Marcus's body was at its limit. His hands had long since gone numb, held in position only by strips of cloth the Corvani had permitted him to wrap around the handle. His legs shook with each heartbeat, and dark spots danced at the edges of his vision. But he held on. When the negotiations finally concluded, a comprehensive alliance that would benefit both species for generations, Marcus still stood, the mace still in his grasp. The chamber was dead silent. Zarthak approached him slowly, her expression unreadable. "By the ancient traditions of our people," she said, her voice carrying to every corner of the chamber, "any who can bear the ceremonial mace of the Ironbreaker clan through a full council session is deemed worthy to wield it in battle." She knelt before the exhausted human, her massive form bowing low. "I offer you the position of battle brother in the Ironbreaker clan. You have earned the right to stand beside us in war, to share in our victories, and to call upon our strength as your own." Marcus looked down at the alien warrior, then at the hundreds of Corvani watching him with newfound respect. He thought about humanity's long struggle to find its place among the stars, about the colonies that needed protection, about the future his species could have with allies like these. "I accept," he whispered, his voice barely audible but carrying clearly in the silent chamber. Later, as medical teams attended to Marcus's stressed muscles and the Corvani prepared for the bonding ceremony, Zarthak stood beside the human's medical bed. "I must ask," she said, "what drove you to endure such pain? Surely the alliance could have been negotiated without the trial." Marcus smiled weakly. "Maybe, but you needed to know that humans don't give up easily. When we commit to something, to a friendship, to an alliance, to protecting what we care about, we hold on, no matter how much it hurts." Zarthak nodded, slowly, understanding dawning in her ancient eyes. The humans weren't the strongest or the fastest, but they possessed something perhaps more valuable: the absolute refusal to surrender what they believed was right. And by tradition, that made them the most dangerous allies the Corvani could ask for.